Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Asia Ali, and today is kind of a big deal because I bought 3 luxury makeup palettes, and what I want to do is make a video for each. If these palettes don't, live up to the hype that they got on the internet, I may never purchase another luxury palette again. And I know that sounds kind of dramatic, but I really want these palettes to be worth the money that I paid for them. So we'll see. And today we are going to review the Ethereal Eyes Moonlight palette by Makeup by Mario. So this is a normal 12-month palette. It is manufactured in the US and assembled in the Dominican Republic. I mean, look at how beautiful that palette is. That is stunning. Honestly, the reason I purchased this palette, not only because I want to see if luxury makeup is worth it, I really was just like drawn into these shimmers. These look absolutely beautiful. I thought the idea of a cool tone palette was really cool. And I wanted to see if this type of palette actually works on my brown skin because I was seeing a lot of makeup tutorials of people using this and they were of lighter skin tones. So I wanted to see how this worked for me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. Let's just go ahead and jump right into this palette. So what I want to do first is I want to do some quick swatches. These are the first 3 shades. Ooh, super buttery. Okay. Kind of seem, they're very soft. They seem to be applying kind of patchy on my hand, but just because they're patchy on the hand, that doesn't mean that's how they're gonna perform on the actual eye. So let's hope for the best. This is the shimmers. Look how pretty those are. That looks so pretty. Okay, let's go. I mean, look at that. That's really pretty. Ooh, gorgeous. You see those? Those look so pretty. Ooh, that top shade is so pretty. It looks so glossy even on my fingers. Still looks beautiful. Okay, and the next 3. Hopefully this brown shade actually shows up on my skin tone. Ooh, that navy. Look at those. That looks so pretty. Still kind of chalky for me, but I think I can work with this, but it's still definitely a little chalky. And that's pretty. That's a deeper shimmer than the other ones. And this navy blue, let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. See, they kind of apply patchy at first, the mattes on my hand. But then like when you warm them up, they get really pretty. And I apologize in advance. I kind of feel like my camera was being weird. So if I did not do a good swatch, it's okay. Because I will give you more. Don't worry. And this is the last 3. Ooh, I like that. That's really pretty. I like that. Okay, well, I didn't plan on using that today, but let's see if we can figure something out. Ooh, and that's a good black. That's a perfect black, actually. You always need a good black. Definitely if you do a lot of makeup. Honestly, you can't really go wrong with a good matte black. So any palette that has one, I kind of always purchase them because they're just so amazing. And this is great. Right off the bat, I think the quality of the palette is absolutely amazing. I love how simplistic this little case is. And I like that it has the names posted on the back, so it'll make my life a lot easier during tutorials. On the inside, it has probably like the biggest mirror ever. So I love that. I think that if I go traveling with this palette, this is the only palette that I truly would need, especially for a mirror. It's great. It's fabulous. The colors themselves, I knew when I purchased this palette that this was going to be a very simple color scheme, but this is a very wearable palette. I love the smokiness of the palette overall, and I'm really interested to see how it blends. Honestly, let's just jump right into it because I really want to get into these formulas. I want to see how they behave. So I'm going to try to use as many of these shadows as possible. We'll see how that goes, but that's what I'm going to aim for. And this is the final look. Okay. This is what I have to say about this palette. I dipped into a lot of these shadows. I didn't dip into every single one, but that's because a lot of these shadows are extremely, extremely similar. Let's jump into the actual shadows themselves. So I first started off with this shadow right here, which I have no idea how I'm supposed to read these. Am I supposed to read it? Like EM2 is the second, is that EM2? I have no idea how to read this. Maybe I'm not intellectual enough. I don't know. It's possible. So I went in with this really pretty mauve shade, the first shadow that I applied in my crease. I found that it actually blended super duper easy. I'm used to applying a lot of mauve shades, and mauve shades, for some reason, they apply really dark on me. So it applied darker than what I was expecting. It was kind of like this beautiful, moody, cool toned gray purple shade. And I thought it was absolutely beautiful. It was a great beginning to my makeup look. Then I went in with the blue. Okay, so me and this blue we were fighting the entire time because I really wanted that pigment. So what I found with these shadows is they blend extremely easy. There is a lot of kickback for every single one of the matte shadows, but they blend so easily. I kind of forgive the fact that there's so much kickback and there's so much fallout in the pans because, and this is a really good important part, these shadows, the formula of the shadows, they work so good together, okay? Also, guys, I applied some eyelash glue that's not my normal eyelash glue, and if my eyes are sticking together, okay, it's not the shadow's fault. It is my fault for choosing the cheapest eyelash glue that I had in my drawer, okay? So I just picked one up, and I don't think I ever used it before today, and I should probably throw it away. But anyway, so I won't have the eyelash glue in the description box. So when you apply the shadows on each other, I found something super interesting. I don't think this has ever happened to me when I reviewed a palette ever. The light shades were actually able to cover up the dark shades and vice versa, obviously. And that is so useful. So when I was actually applying the navy shade, that's why I'm talking about this, sometimes I would go a little overboard and I needed to go back and dip into that beautiful mauve color and blend everything out. It was so easy to blend everything out because the shades complement each other formula-wise. I don't know how else to explain that, but it was by far the least stressful blending experience that I've had in a very long time. I will say though, because they do blend so easily, I did have to go back over the blue a few different times to make sure I was really packing on that color because I really wanted that color to shine. I really wanted to have a blue eye look today because I was wearing a blue sweater. I just felt connected to that vision, you know? So I created a beautiful halo eye with that blue. So I applied a little bit of the shadow on the front of the lid and the back. So next, went in with this nude shade because I was interested to see if this shade would show up on me. Before I actually applied that nude shade, I had kind of seen that the light shades went on top of the dark shades really well. And I wanted to test it out some more. I wanted to see if I was just, you know, I was like, what, am I tripping? Is this light shade really covering up the dark navy shade? Like I was confused. So I went in with that beautiful tan color and I applied it to the center of my lid just to really bring out that beautiful halo eye. I was not let down in any way, shape, or form. The pigment was absolutely perfect. It went flawlessly on top of the blue. And then actually I applied a little bit too much, so I had to go back in with the blue and make sure everything blended out perfectly. That's how well that light tan shade went on top of that navy shade. And I was so impressed. I thought it looked so good. I was so impressed with the performance of these shadows. So next I went in with that beautiful multi-chrome glitter, Ethereal Eyes Moonlight. I think that shadow itself gives me Moonlight vibes. Like it looks so beautiful in the pan, so beautiful in the eyes. I like that you can actually adjust how much pigment that you get. I thought it was really weird. It actually applied even better with my finger than with a brush. But when I applied it with a brush with setting spray on the inner eyes, with the glitters applied very flawlessly. So you kind of have to get to know how these shadows work, but I'm not upset with it. I really like the nice dust of glitter that I got on top of the lid. I think it just makes it look very classy. For the lashes in general, I had to dip into that black. I'm obsessed with a good black, and that is really how I know if a palette is worth it. Let's pretend that price point doesn't matter. If I can get one good black shadow in a palette, I will keep it and I will love it forever because I really value those because I do a lot of weird makeup, you know, guys. So sometimes I need a lot of black, you know? It applied very flawlessly to my lower lash line. I did get a tiny bit of fallout, but really it was so easy to control. I remember when I was doing my upper lash, doing my faux wing. I thought I was gonna have to go back and fix that because there was gonna be a lot of fallout from that black. But instead, it was super easy to work with. It wasn't falling out all over my face. I honestly think that black shadow performed the best out of all the shadows in the palette. When I was actually dipping into it, I don't even remember it having as much fallout as the navy. The navy is all over my palette, but that black is a lot more controlled. And I really, really appreciate that. Different formulas in each of the pans. That is beautiful. That is amazing. Another shadow that I did dip into was that beautiful gray that's right above it. By the time I applied that shadow to my lower lash, I kind of understood what I was getting with this palette. It applied super quickly, no issues whatsoever. When I applied it, it did 100% cover up that black, so I had to go back in with the black and adjust the pigment. So I don't know if this is a bad thing that I had to go back in so many times, or if it was just me learning the palette and learning the formula. I kind of personally feel like it was just me learning the formula because the palette itself just performed so well and the shadows complemented each other formula-wise. I don't know if you've ever used a palette where one of the shadows doesn't really mesh well with the other shadow. In this palette, that did not happen once. Do I believe that this palette is beginner friendly? I don't know, okay? I think that the shade range is extremely beginner friendly. I feel like when I was just now getting to know makeup, I would be able to create a bunch of different looks with this palette. The shades are great. I love the pop of blue. When you're a beginner, you don't really want to explore that much with big and vibrant colors, but I feel like this shade of blue is so classy. It's so beautiful. I feel like I could go anywhere in just like a blue lid. Sometimes personally, I go overboard with the colors, but I feel like this is a very subtle, glamorous shade of blue. And I love it. So I think it's really beginner friendly in that regard. The only thing that I would be iffy about, this is gonna sound absolutely insane, the shadows actually blend so well that I feel like for a beginner, it could be somewhat frustrating. Does that make sense? Like, it's not like that's a bad thing whatsoever. But I feel like if you are used to that tougher, lower price point shadow, I feel like when you switch to this, it might give you whiplash. Yeah, that's what I think, actually. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I am a skeptic, okay? I'm a skeptic. I did not understand this price point when I saw this on the internet. I didn't understand it, and I bought it anyway because that's who I am as a person, but that's a whole different problem. I didn't understand why it cost so much. I didn't understand why people were hyping it. And also, I should probably note, this is my very first Makeup by Mario palette, so I don't have anything else that he has ever created. I don't have any foundation, anything. This is my introduction to him. And now that I've actually tried it, I get it. I really do get it. I think this might actually be worth it. I think this might be worth the money. The palette itself is great quality. It's not gonna open in your bag. The mirror is huge. The shadows themselves apply beautifully, like I said. I think that if you are looking for a luxury experience when you're doing your makeup, then this is definitely a go-to product. Yeah, I really like this. I'm kind of confused, honestly. I love it, actually, and it's $70. It's just so small. 12, I guess that's okay. I guess price point, that's okay. I don't have my phone because it died, so I can't do that math. I'll do the math on the screen. Cha-ching! What I really want to do, I want to play with this some more. I really do. I think that this is gorgeous. I think that this is definitely a must-have. The worst that you can do with this palette is overblend. And if that is what you were looking for, great. If I had to give this palette a rating based on, let's say, presentation, shadows, color range, and application, those are the things I'm thinking about. I'm gonna give it a 9. When I try the other palettes, I may adjust it at the end. We'll see how that goes. Yes, the colors are extremely beginner friendly, but I feel like for $78, you should have one more wow color. Maybe I would pop out one of these 2 golds and put another wow color in here. Maybe that's what I would do. And then it would be a 10. But I just had to pick something because I love this palette, so I had to pick something. And I feel like I can't give you a 10 without there being at least 2 wow colors for the price point, you know? But I love it. Okay, if you try it, let me know what you think. All right, and that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys. I have opinions on this palette. The palette that I'm gonna review today is the Makeup by Mario. Oops, okay. Blah, blah, blah. Y'all look crazy? I feel crazy. I feel like I smell like a psychopath.